Good evening, everyone. Running a little bit later than normal, so sorry about that. But I hope everyone's had a good week so far. I know the weekend's coming up, and I just can't think of what conventions are coming up this weekend. I know next weekend is going to be Comic Palooza, so be a lot coming up. We are media there, so be looking for some live videos for sure. But today we have on the let me make sure I got this right. Avengers cosplay of Houston. And y'all do a bunch of charity work.
We try.
Can we talk a little bit about the charity work that y'all do and where y'all might go and where you might be going next?
Sure. Let me take this off so people can see my face. So hi, I'm David. I'm the founder with my friend Greg Illich, and we have a young lady named Bree Porter that we were like the founding members, and we're fortunate to have the opportunity to be involved in doing a little bit of charity work as we get back on track after the COVID pandemic. Greg, a young man who does Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and I were able to be the first volunteers back at Ronald McDonald House after 2 years of not having visitors because of a lot of the children there are immunocompromised and we're worried about them catching something. So we were very glad to be there with them and spend some quality time and give them some joy and hope. And that's the kind of stuff that I got introduced to by being friends with Greg Illich, who is the best Captain America. It happens to be my neighbor. And by meeting him, I learned about different organizations and groups that are out in the community. And then I decided to start my own. And any chance that we get to encourage people, to give them an opportunity to see their favorite character and to pursue cosplay to the best of our ability. You know, there's different tiers of involvement, and we don't discriminate or hold people back from joining our group, and they can participate in supporting the few organizations that we've been able to connect with. It's still a work in progress, but we hope to do more and more as time progresses.
Now, one thing I would like to ask is how far out of Houston do y'all go? Do y'all just stick with the Houston area, or do y'all actually travel outside of Houston for some of the charity work?
Well, I'll let Greg talk because he's been doing it for longer, and he is part of many different invitations. So, Greg, how far have you gone as Captain America?
Sure. Appreciate the question. Usually within an hour and a half, 2 hours drive of Houston. But the way I look at it, I've gone as far as Austin, which is a 3-hour drive. The way I look at it is it's on my heart to have that opportunity to reach out and be there. And we've been there for some people with young people with very grave illnesses and situations, and the family is so appreciative, and that's what really motivates us. So if we can find a way to do it, we will. David's been real good at going at various conventions down towards Lake Jackson and all across the community, generally within an hour or two. But as I said, we stretch further than that. And so we're just looking for that opportunity. And with COVID, the big challenge is some of the hospitals have very restrictive environments right now. So we have to think outside of the box. And a lot of time we will visit people even outside of the hospital at their convenience, at their home. And so people reach out to us. We will do everything we can to make it happen.
Nice. So I have to ask, do y'all make y'all's own uniforms, or because I know some cosplayers actually buy them, some make them. So that's definitely one question I have to ask.
So people have different budgets and different abilities to be able to get to the place where they want to be. I was fortunate to connect with a charity in Odessa, and they had a full Iron Man costume. I was really struggling to how to make an Iron Man costume or get a hold of one because there's so many parts to it, and you want to look as close to the character. So I drove 8 hours and I was able to buy it from them, and they bought it from what I would call an artist in San Antonio who made it out of a foam, and he did such a great job that as an artist myself, I've tried to recreate it and I can't figure it out. And the hardening of the foam and the ability for it to not fall apart on you and stuff like that was really well done, and they took the time to make it right. So I'm a proud owner of somebody else's project that brings to life the character. So that was my approach.
I can tell you that in my case, it's a combination. I started off with the core suit that I found online, and I did my own coloring and my own painting. I added my own. I'm very active, and I've gone on walks of sometimes 3 or 4 miles at a time. So I use my own boots and my own gear and my own gloves, and gradually I've added things. But each member in our group goes their own way, and it's not that we're trying to be perfectly movie accurate. We are trying to provide that opportunity for the children to make them happy. That's our goal, is that charity event, as opposed to being perfect movie accurate. As long as we can be there for the kids, we're happy.
So definitely the smile on the kid's face is what makes this all worth it for y'all.
Definitely.
Well, I know Comic Palooza is coming up. I think I actually read, do y'all have a panel going on at Comic Palooza?
Yeah, we were fortunate to get an opportunity to submit a panel and get it approved. And it is a subject that is dear to my heart, to discuss diversity. It was funny. I posted on one of the Facebook groups that we were having a diversity panel and that I wanted to have people come join us. And somebody got mad and said, "How dare you bring your politically correct stuff into cosplay? Cosplay is about having fun, and you're making it political." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, diversity is such a loaded term." And I'm like, "To me, it just means different kinds of people with different kinds of perspectives. And aren't we all unique, and aren't we all different?" And this person was focused on some activist groups that are trying to push this or that. So I was shocked of how controversial the word diversity can be. And that's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is talk about how everybody is welcome. Everybody has an opportunity to express themselves and join our community. And then also everybody has their own struggles, and they can share those struggles, and what dressing up as a comic book, anime, or any type of artistic representation of a character gives them an avenue to feel comfortable and to get in touch with what other people find exciting about that character. So we feel that diversity would be a way for people to know that cosplay is a healthy and friendly way for people to connect with others. So I don't know if Greg wants to share what the panel means to him.
Sure. And along with what you're saying, I was so delighted that you signed up for that. That's very near and dear to my heart. And I want to show a picture that was taken by a friend in the cosplay community here, Cyrus Yusufpour. And maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. Can you see that photo there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see how we're all Captain America, but we don't look the same?
Mm-hmm.
So I was so worn out, so tired of hearing people tell me, you can't be Captain America because fill in the blank. You're not muscular enough. You're not young enough. I'm 58, by the way. You're not blonde enough. You're not this. You're not that. And those characters a lot of them represent wonderful ideas. And so to have that opportunity, so for me, that picture encapsulate what it's all about. We can all play those characters, and especially when you're talking about charity, to be there for the children. And what it takes me back to is I ask those children, especially those with very serious issues, health issues, I ask them each one the same question. I ask them, what is your superpower? So what I mean by that is that gift that they have, that talent that they have, whatever they love to do. And I want people to feel the freedom instead of letting other people talk them out of it or them talk themselves out of it. Oh, I can't do that because I'm not whatever. I'm not pretty enough or tall enough or short enough or muscular enough or whatever color. And so that's what motivates me. And so I've seen children come up. Some of them, one of them told me kindness was their superpower, empathy, and I just love it. And so anything that we can do so that people can access their creativity and especially do it out of love for each other, and I'm on board.
Definitely. Like I said, especially for the kids, because I know hospitals and it brings joy to them. And when they're sick and trying to get feeling better and working through tough times, that actually helps. A lot of people don't know that, but that actually helps. Or they don't realize it. I don't want to say they don't know it. They don't realize it. So, what conventions have y'all been to and are y'all going to? And do y'all advertise what y'all do at these conventions?
Well, in the last couple of months, we've had different events here and there. Sometimes I get invited to, like Pop Soap invited me to their block party in Montrose. They're a new company they wanted to do it a comic book theme. Also, Extreme Voltage was doing a fundraiser for their comic book store at Texas City. I've been to the mini convention that they had for Bedrock City at No Label Brewery over there in Old Katy. So little things here and there where we were promoting our charity and trying to let people know that we exist. And then hopefully we'll run into people that might want someone to visit. The one event that I'm very proud of participating in was the BrassCon convention and being part of the judges for the cosplay contest. I was able to gather a group of wonderful young people to join me in judging the contest, and that was a way to let people know about our organization as well. So we just do kind of word of mouth or using the Facebook platform or just little flyers. And I know Greg has a lot of contacts, and I've been building contacts as I go. So, the one thing that I guess is the hidden cost of conventions is the price. I feel that as the price goes up and it gets more expensive, even to survive in this world, it limits how much can you participate in some of these events. So I've been lucky to get a community table at in the Chaotic Freedom Celebration that they just had, and then I was talking to the gentleman from the NerdCon about having one there too. So being a charity opens some doors, but with big events like Comic Palooza, it had to be the panel to get us in, and not everybody can afford to go for these 3-day conventions or even the ones that are in other parts of Texas. So we also want to support local and free events because it is you have to have disposable income sometimes to participate in these events.
I know it can be hard, but like there are tons of small events around here, and I mean tons. People don't realize it, but I think I can name probably 6 or 7 right off the top of my head that are just, they're wonderful, they're affordable, some are free to get into, but it all depends on the location too. So that's a big issue. But have you tried going to the smaller cons about charity, or have you just say, well, I might want to go to this convention and see if I can recruit somebody for y'all's cause?
Well, yeah, I'm a pretty friendly guy. So what I first do, I contact the event that I hear about, and then try to find out if we can get in as guests. So a lot of people will say, "Okay, you guys can be the official cosplayers of the event," and then we walk around and take free pictures. I know at the different breweries, sometimes they have like an art show or a toy convention or something like that, and they're happy to have us taking pictures with people for free. And by doing that, I've met people, just invited them as, hey, we're going to be there. Would you guys like to come and join us? And that's how I met the two Spider-Men that they have joined our group, not officially, but they come here and there to help us out. And I've met wonderful people online also that have been doing this for a long time. There's a friend of mine who just moved to New York, and she's been doing cosplay for 22 years. And I've been learning from her, what does it take to be a cosplayer? What's the culture behind it? And they're very warm and friendly. Most people that I've encountered, I haven't had any bad experience or any people dissing you for whatever reason. But what Greg has shared with me is that there is some type of kind of people not realizing that these characters are all of ours. They're not copyrighted in the sense of only certain people can dress up as them. So I appreciated that idea that I felt weird, like it's somebody else's product that you're putting on and then you are promoting their product, but it's a product that it is part of pop culture. So we are celebrating that this character is so well loved and giving an opportunity for our unique expression of it. So I like when people say, hey, your costume is really cool, or they'll call you Tony or Captain Rogers or whatever when they see you. So that's cool that people are able to identify and feel like some type of connection. Greg, when you run into people at your events, do you tell them that you're available to visit with different people at different places, or it's just organic that people get a hold of you? Greg Illich?
Oh, yeah, yes. Yes, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure which Greg you were talking about. Yeah, I'm always networking. I'm always networking, and ordinarily it's word of mouth. One of the first events I did was at Third Coast Comics, and then you had mentioned the Bedrock City, and it just grew from there, and people getting together. But the main thing is I want people to understand is my motivation in the charity world is what is really important to me. I love cosplay and it's fun, but my first reaction was, gosh, I didn't think I'd be comfortable dressing up, but I realized what my niche was, and my niche is being there for the kids. And my wife reminded me that it wasn't about me; it's about the children. And so I look for like-minded people, and then the results take care of themselves, and I end up going wherever the opportunity is. And I really thank those people. They give me names, phone numbers, and I love, and the way that you do it, David, with this group. What I really like is it's not a bunch of hassle about membership or qualifications. We just follow our heart, and we're there for the kids, and that's it. And we make memories, and it's been a real gift, and I thank God for the opportunity.
Now, I've spoken with tons of cosplayers, and a lot of them, the costumes, they identify with those characters. And I know Iron Man and Captain America. We'll start with David first, but how do you identify yourself with Iron Man?
Well, it's interesting that if you really think about Iron Man, and I've seen that there's different versions, like the comic book version might not be the same as the cartoon version or the movie version. And the movie adds more drama and more like modern issues to it to make it more interesting. But this whole idea of him having like a heart issue and through technology, being able to survive, and then creating his own armor to be able to protect people or save them. I remember as a kid, I was being bullied. I started working when I was 14, and I worked at a pizza shop, and the people that worked there were horrible. Like, they were always messing with me, always trying to put me down. And my mom told me that as the insults came my way, I should think of myself wearing an armor, and that the insults would bounce back. And I didn't think about that when I was trying to find the best character that I could dress up as. And I have this joke, and I hope not to offend anybody, but I'm too overweight to be Thor, too bald to be Aquaman, and so I landed on Iron Man as someone that wears a full suit, and it can cover some of my imperfections. So I feel that the character of Tony Stark and Iron Man is like a hidden gem of the Marvel universe that became a great hit because Spider-Man was sold to Sony, and they couldn't do much with getting their own universe going at the beginning, and then it became such a good, so well played by Robert Downey Jr. that now is like a cultural icon in a cult classic. So I'm just happy to for people to feel that I portray him the best way I can, and his personality is such a happy personality and kind of goofy that it's hard for me to feel comfortable doing that, and I guess the suit gives me that confidence. So it's kind of like reaching to that goal and wanting to be there for people and also being part of a team. I think the Avengers movies are so awesome because everybody wants a group of friends that you can count on and be there for each other and also bump heads with. So one of my favorite movies is Civil War, when they're at odds with each other, because you see different approaches. Because you have different approaches, that doesn't mean that you should hate each other. So Iron Man wants to work with the government and protect the world, and Captain America feels that it's encroaching on their freedom, and they're able to go back and forth. So I think that being able to discuss these issues with through fantasy and science fiction and superheroes is a good way to open the conversation.
Greg, what about you? How would you identify yourself with Captain America?
Well, sure. Well, first, even though I was always a big sci-fi fan and a comic book fan, I didn't really feel called to be a traditional cosplayer. And I couldn't really keep up with it very well. I did a little bit with my daughter one time, and I played an anime character, but I always identified and could identify with Captain America. And when they came out with the movie, it was easier, and the origin in particular. And when you look at what the doctor says to him, when he asked them, so you want to kill Nazis? And he says, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from. That resonated with me. And he talked about that he needed a good man. He said that the strong man, having always been strong, would abuse that power. But the weak man respects that power and understands it's important. And I was always the smallest one in my class. I was 4'10" when I was in 9th grade. I didn't even weigh 100 pounds, and I'm bigger now, but I always came, and I was horribly bullied. And so when that happened, and I saw this weak person become Captain America, and it was based on him being a good man, the serum amplified his will to help. I always felt called to help people in their circumstances. I always appreciated my friends that stood up for me and were there for me. And so whenever those lines of dialogue, Captain America understanding that our country's not perfect, but wanting to improve the situation of the most vulnerable and weakest among us, that really resonated with me. And especially when he would say something like, I can do this all day, I just would laugh. And so for years, I wore a Captain America t-shirt. And then one day, um, a student of my wife, she's a school teacher, was she made it, but we thought she was dying of cancer. She had stage 4. And my wife said, let's go visit her, but I need you to dress up as Captain America because she loves Captain America. I put on my t-shirt and wore a plastic and just brought a plastic Halloween shield and then went from there. But at first I resisted. And that's when she told me, well, no, it's not about you. I would feel awkward. And she said, just be you. So it gives me an opportunity to channel those things that I really appreciate, being bigger than ourselves, looking out of our past our own wants and desires to benefit the larger community. And I think that's what Captain America stands for. And so for me to do my little part, and I see it as a very little part, but I'm happy to do it. And when I see somebody who's having a hard time and I can bring that smile to their face and just be me, as I said, asking them about their superpower. And one of the most touching moments was that a young man recently didn't make it last year. And his mother called me afterwards and said that it was so important to him because he really thought that he was an Avenger and he was on the team because I invited him to the team. And I told her, I corrected her, I said, he was on our team. He was one of us, and he had his own mission. And so that's what's important to me, is helping people to lift, give them that, help them to find that hope and that mission, and to do that.
Definitely can relate to a lot of that. But let me tell you something about that girl with stage 4. Never count anybody out with any type of cancer. It is a
6 years later, she's in the game. She's doing well, and I'll never forget that.
Let me tell you, 13 years ago to date, I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal, and I am still here. So never give up on the cancer patients. They got the heart and the mentality to fight it. They are going to beat it. That's pure thought on that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, and that's very good to hear. And I'm delighted that you're better.
I'm getting there. Let's just say I'm going through my 4th bout right now, but I'm still here and I'm still kicking and I ain't going nowhere. But let's get a little bit to the, what I call a little bit of the BS part of stuff that we talk about. What do y'all think of the new stuff coming out now that Captain America's gone, Iron Man's gone? How do y'all feel about the Avengers and Marvel with the movies coming out now?
Everything new always takes a while for people to fall in love with or to connect with. I feel like they're running out of steam. Like, I was very disappointed with the last Spider-Man and the last Doctor Strange. I felt like they were just all over the place. And, everybody has to give in to the fans to make sure that you get people keep on coming to buy tickets. But sometimes they do goofy stuff where it's all cameos and no heart and no good script. So Star Wars has had that problem with the sequels, where just because you have Mark Hamill and the rest of the original cast, that doesn't mean the story is good or the movie's worthwhile. So I hope that they keep finding good writers and that they are able to stay connected with the audiences. But sometimes if you really think about the stories that have been pursued in comic books, some stories are very silly, but they're able to pull it off because they have so much history and able to pull it all together. So they did a great job with the majority of the Avengers movies, with the majority of the sequels to the individual characters. So I'm no one to judge, because they also try to connect with the new generation, and the new generation is into different things than we are. So it's almost like, who are we to say that it's not that great if it doesn't speak to us. Maybe it speaks to the new generation. They're into new things. I don't know what Captain America thinks about it.
Well, I think it's a big tent, and I will admit that some of the work I'm not real enamored of, but I'm the storyline. I've been reading comics, and I still read them since the early '70s, and the storylines go all over the place, and so I go along for the ride, and if it's not my cup of tea, I move on. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not abandoning anything. But I will say that if the story's there, I think that's the main thing that I'm looking for. Every now and then, I think they miss the forest for the trees, and I went ahead and saw. I was okay with WandaVision, but I will tell you where they ended up with it, and the Doctor Strange movie. I had a hard time with that. It wasn't my cup of tea, but we'll see where it goes. And as far as the passing on the Captain America, that is inevitable and happened many times in the comic books, and I think they're weaving a good story there, and I think there's something they can work. But to bring us along, the fans along, I think it's important. If the story is compelling, I really don't think that. I think sometimes they check a box where they're trying to cover some area or reach out to a specific audience. I don't think they have to do that. I think if the story is compelling, the audience will come along with it. To give you an example, in the last Spider-Man, I thought Electro, he was talking about what he was looking for and what he expected. He wondered about things, and I think he seemed surprised that Spider-Man wasn't black. And for me, there can be all kinds of Spider-Man, all kinds of Captain Americas, but I don't think you have to reach for it. I think that it can just come out of the story, and then we'll go along for the ride. I was delighted that they brought I didn't see that coming 3 years ago, but they brought the other Spider-Man in and have a lot of room for a lot more, and I like that. So I'm along for the ride. I expected it to be a bit bumpy because it's not what I'm used to, but hey, when they first started the Avengers, I had a big doubt that they would be able to pull it together, but they did a great job. So we'll see what happens.
Now, I have to say, you mentioned Star Wars, and I know The Mandalorian is the biggest thing right now. What did y'all think of Obi-Wan?
I enjoyed it. There was a lot of flack they were giving it. They were saying that it was focused on the other characters. And I've gone back and forth with Star Wars throughout the years because it came out before I was born, and then slowly got into the toys and everything like that, and then I dropped it for a while, and then I got back in. So I don't have that big connection with Obi-Wan to begin with, but Luke and the rest of the characters, stuff like that, I felt that they were trying to do a lot, and there are some things that I appreciate from it. The relationship between him and Leia. I think that having the guy that played Anakin back, that was a big plus for me. And we have different technology. We have different ways to tell stories. Making something serialized and comparing that to movies is a huge difference. I saw a meme that said Star Wars is better as a series than as a movie, and I don't know if I agree with that. And The Mandalorian has positive and negative things in it too. Same with the Book of Boba Fett. So I can say that maybe the first or the middle episode and the last one were the best of Obi-Wan. And I hate to have to do that. It's almost like with the prequels and the sequels and stuff like that, where you're like trying to find the one that you can live with and kind of forget all the other ones. So I think that's the problem of trying to extend something into a series, where it's almost like Star Trek, where you have 3 or 4 bad episodes and then you have one that kills it. And you're like, why don't they just get rid of all the the fillers and leave the good ones in. So it's tough when you're trying to tell a long story and trying to hit so many points, and the camera goes to all these different characters and trying to give them a full expression of who they are, when people all they want to see is Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. They don't really care about anybody else.
That's true.
Greg, Illich, did you get to watch it?
Yes, I did. And I will say that overall, I was completely delighted with these serial TV series. I didn't expect to like them. It wasn't what I was used to, but I liked them immensely and overall. And I thought that Obi-Wan really surpassed my expectations overall. There were a few things here and there that, weren't my favorite, but the quality I thought was incredible. I think they've really created something between Disney and Marvel. They've really created something that is kind of in between. I think it's much better than an average TV series that I'm used to. It's more like a mini movie, the kind of thing that I grew up with as a kid, the little serials that we would watch at the movie theaters when everything was still reel to reel. And I enjoyed that. The story of the force sensitive Jedis being hunted down was very compelling and very sad. And of course, there's a lot in our history on this planet to remind us of all of those horrible kinds of things where people are hunted down. I found the story very, very compelling. I thought they made him a little bit too rusty in the beginning, but it was okay. I got over it, and then he seemed to get his powers back pretty quickly. But that was always a hole for me. It was always difficult to understand where it seemed like he just disappeared. Obi-Wan disappeared for 20 years or so, and then suddenly is on the scene again. And so it was great to fill in that gap and the idea that he was the fella watching out. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well written, and there were moments where I will tell you that it brought me to tears.
Well, no spoilers, because we don't like doing spoilers on the.
No, I'm
TV
trying.
show.
I didn't do any, did I?
No. I just want to say no spoilers, because actually I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
So
I tried to be very vague about the whole thing.
Oh yeah, well, you did pretty good, I have to say. Now, is there anything that y'all are looking forward to coming out? Because I know there is one show that I'm definitely looking forward to coming out, and that's when I'm going to get my Disney back and watch everything again.
Which show is that?
Willow.
Oh, the Willow one.
Yes.
Okay. My friend says that Willow is just Star Wars without the spaceships. And if you watch the original one, it follows the same kind of fantasy story where there's the wizard and the young apprentice, and then he has friends that are different cultures or planets. I think that that's why Star Wars is so powerful, because it has so many like historical and mythological connections that you can make. And I loved the Moon Knight TV show, because I'm into ancient cultures, and I thought they did a great job expressing about the Egyptians. Some people think that all the new shows are a little too like inner struggle, like too there's a word for people who are like losing their mind, almost like temperamental or psychotic or something like that. They think but that's what they couldn't do in the movies. When you have 5 characters that you're trying to have fight a bad guy, you can't go into the mind of Tony Stark, Hulk, Captain America, Black Widow, and all those people. They're all, bouncing off of each other ideas, but you don't really get to know what's in their heart. With a TV show, you can go a little bit deeper. And I thought Hawkeye was okay. There was like too much stuff going on. I felt like he was kind of like a sidekick to the rest of the characters, but it kind of went with it. And I was trying to think, there was another one that I really enjoyed, and it wasn't WandaVision. Oh, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought they did a great job. At first, I didn't think they were going to pull it off, and I really enjoyed the characters that didn't get enough screen time in the movies. So I like that now you get to have their individual shows to kind of fill in the gap.
Mhm. Well, I have to say, waiting for Willow, but I'm actually worried that they might screw it up. So it's a mixed emotion. Do y'all get that way with some of the shows coming out? Mixed emotions before they come out, not knowing.
Sure. There's no doubt. But the one I'm anticipating is the new Thor, because there's so many of the comic storylines that they're bringing forward, and I'm looking forward to it. And we'll see what the tone is, but I'm expecting it to be quite different, and so I'm looking forward to seeing it. But yes, I do get concerned, but I try not to ruin the movie with a bunch of expectations, and just let the story unfold.
And that's the thing where you have the purists where they want the story to stay to the original writer's intention. Like they say, well, don't make a prequel because you're going to mess up whatever Gene Roddenberry or George Lucas came up with, and you're going to expand something that they never meant to expand. And it takes away the mystery of Obi-Wan knowing what he did during those 20 years, or finding out what Kirk and Spock did when they were little kids. Takes away from the glory of the original show. But the thing is that there are people who want to know more, and there's people who are interested in what else can you get from that character. And sometimes it's like beating a dead horse where they overdo it, and that's the hesitation. It's like, are they gonna mess up the character? And there's this one guy who's very negative, and he's like almost like a hater on YouTube. And he says that the problem with the sequels of Star Wars and the problem with all these things is that they're destroying the character, that a character that we all love, they're going in a different way with them, and that they're taking away their manhood or taking away their strengths or something like that. But you also got to think, as writers, they want to give you a different perspective or a different view on the character. So if you are a purist and you don't want your stuff to be touched, then don't watch it. Then stay with the Batman from the 1960s and never let someone else take their own approach to Batman. And I can tell you, I wish I wouldn't have seen the last Batman movie. It made me not like Batman. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were doing. And it really made me think that they kind of drag the story to the ground. And sometimes you got to take it and be like, okay, well, I wasted $12. I'll wait for the next time.
Well, before we do head out here, I know y'all are going to Comic Palooza, but are there any other Comic Cons y'all are going to?
If I could, I would go to the stuff that Disney is doing and Disneyland and Disney World and stuff like that, and go see what they're doing with Star Wars. I think Comic Palooza is a great event, and it's sometimes you can only handle so much. So I guess some people, they save up for a couple of years and then they go to a big one. I knew someone that went to the original Comic Con in LA. So if I could, I would also go to that one. What about you, Captain America?
I'm going to be stopping by Anime Matsuri. My daughter is a huge anime fan, and so I was there last year, but I was there as an anime character, and this year I will be there as Captain America and make a cross-universe appearance. Nice. I'm looking forward to it. It's just all about networking.
Well, then, are you going to plan on going to Anime Houston or?
That was not in the plans yet, but that would be great. That would be great to go.
If you can get us into any stuff, let us know.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have so much fun trying to get myself into some of these places. I was worried about Comic Palooza. But anyway, everyone, we will be on Tuesday at 11 a.m. and we will be doing our second giveaway for 2 tickets for Terror Isle in Texas City. And all you have to do is participate on the show, do the comments, like, share, all the good stuff. And if you haven't been, it is great. They have 3 different escape rooms. These tickets are good till August, and they're switching the escape rooms into their haunted house for the, I'm trying to think, for the Halloween month. So definitely follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are actually 20 people short of 500 on our Facebook group. We are looking forward to having more people join. But again, we will see you Tuesday at 11 a.m. and then it's Comic Palooza for me, for the media. But until then, everyone, adio.
And don't forget to come to our panel at 3 o'clock on the 16th, 17th Saturday. We're going to be talking about diversity and cosplay.
Nice. So we will see everybody then. Adios.